I'm with you. Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you so much. It's a pity that we are talking with someone who has already made a research and is making a lot of facts. But being factual does not guarantee one truthful. The fact of the matter is, as Christians and as a Christian country, we actually abide by the teachings of the Word of God. I want to make one example here. He cited a fact of liquor and other examples. We as Christians not even supporting the sale of liquor. And as a matter of fact, there are many negative factors that are absolutely for everybody who actually uses that. We have examples, we have relatives, we have friends who are very much in dire situations and circumstances by this mere thing called dacha, not only dacha itself. So if we have to legalize dacha just because we see this liquor thing and other things, let's also legalize killing each other using these guns, knives. Let's also legalize stealing and robbing people, and then we will actually realize that the dacha can also be legalized. Otherwise, I want to say, regardless of the fact that it has the potential of making the country rich, but where are we taking our country at the end of the day? Let Swaziland be Swaziland, let Israel be Israel, let South Africa be South Africa, or any other country in the world. Let it remain illegal for the interest of our people. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. So let us not support wanting the country making a lot of money. We are about the kingdom of God here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes.
If I may, I'd really like to address that because that's
yes,
the most critical point.
Yes, very much.
First of all religious leaders and institutions have a responsibility above all else to be integrous, to be moral, and to tell the truth, to seek the truth, to follow the truth, and to live by the truth. Cannabis is no exception. Secondly, God created cannabis. God created cannabis for us to heal ourselves, to have food, to have clothing. We can make almost everything we need around ourselves because God created a plant like He did all of nature for our benefit, for your benefit, and for every Christian's benefit. Cannabis is as holy and more holy than many churches even, and many church buildings, for example. Cannabis is God's purest creation. It is one of the most magnificent creations of God, of our divine Creator. How can we say, if we legalize a plant now, that gives us the right to go kill people? I don't see the connection. If we should legalize, we are okay having a drink and a beer. We can get drunk out of our minds, destroy our families, drive home drunk, kill people, millions of deaths from alcohol, but don't legalize cannabis because that's satanic. It's absurd. You're not speaking from a point of any moral judgment. You're speaking from complete fallacy. You're speaking from the heresies. There is nothing anywhere in the Bible where it says cannabis is satanic. Where, in fact, there's many things being found in all religious doctrines to prove that cannabis has always, through thousands of years, been used for medical use. People actually suggest that Jesus used cannabis for his healings. Many spiritual healings that did this. We cannot separate God's creation and say that's not God's creation. Somehow it was an accident. Like we do in Africa as our cultural practices when we circumcise women. Why should we cut the clitoris off a woman? Because God didn't create that it didn't have a productive end to it? Why should a man be circumcised so that he can stay clean? It's insanity. This is madness. How can we cut a piece of our body and say God made a mistake? Did God make a mistake with cannabis? Did God go, oh my goodness, and now we must, what are we doing? We're defiling God's nature. We are defiling creation. We are abusing creation by having prohibition against nature. We are actually saying God is wrong for having made cannabis, and therefore God should go to jail. God is responsible. God is making dacha. We're just farming it. Put God in jail. He's responsible. I've actually seen this great poster once where it said, "Wanted, God for creating cannabis." Is he not the criminal? No, God is not a criminal, and we are not criminal for using God's creation. We have a right, a God-given natural human right to use cannabis for our advantage, for our benefit, and for our economical empowerment. You say that money is the root of all evil. I think the churches of Swaziland are one of the wealthiest organizations in Swaziland. How much millions on a Sunday afternoon gets poured into churches? Should we say that money is the root of all evil? So go give that money away. Give me some. Give our cause some. Let's revolutionize our country. Let's serve our community like the churches should be doing. How can we say money is the root of all evil? People get happy, they get educated, they grow on money. We can't say money is the root of all evil. You've got to start teaching spiritual principles according to the way Jesus did. Jesus taught spiritual principles. Jesus didn't teach out of a Bible. He didn't teach out of a church. In fact, the only time he was in a church is when he was turning over tables. We have to start teaching people principles on integrity, on truth, on functional information, so that people can get the right information, so that they can make the right choices. When we tell people something is satanic, we are satanic, because that is propaganda. We are not telling them the truth. We are corrupting their minds. Like we have been corrupted against cannabis. Cannabis is evil. Cannabis is the root of all crime. This is propaganda. It's dishonest. It's deceptive. It's corruption, pure and simple. And we have got to start discerning, particularly in African religion. We have got to start discerning between what is integrity, what is morals, what is functional principles, and what is God and Satan, because we're getting very confused. We're getting very confused what is God's duty and what is Satan's duty, because, we're just doing it all. And we don't even know the difference anymore. We're calling cannabis evil, and we're calling weaponry good, because that's our security. Alcohol is okay because we can enjoy a great beer. I mean, we're getting confused. We need to find the truth, and the clergy of Swaziland and everywhere in the world has a responsibility, firstly, to be delivering integrous, functional, moral, and correct information to the people. I would definitely round this up and say to all of Swaziland, go do your homework. Go and do research. Go onto Google. Go and speak to people. Study for yourself the truth and facts. And when you have learned everything there needs to be learned and understood about cannabis and the industry and God's greatest gift to humanity, then come back and make a statement such as that one. Because that is corruption from a clergyman that we just heard. That is satanic.
You seem to be heated up by that. Mr. Kidinza actually says that being factual does not make one necessarily true. That's basically what he said when he started. Well, apparently, somebody has been listening to you carefully, and now, it seems to be cutting. It looks like we don't have much time on air right now. We only have 1 minute. I believe it's about time for us to say goodbye. And thank you very much for coming to Channel Swazi. I hope... how long will you be staying in the Kingdom of Swaziland? Because I believe this is a very important topic where we will have maybe some discerning views. I can see the way you are heated up now that I need somebody to heat you up. I actually tried to heat you up a bit, but I think I didn't do much heating. But Mr. Kiriza did the trick for me.
Well, if I'm not crucified or assassinated because of my plight, I hope to be in Swaziland for very, very many years to come. I hope to be at least partially established in Swaziland, and it would be my honor, truly my honor, sincerely, to assist Swaziland in making this most crucial process of development for African people, for Swaziland, because also what is so important that if Swaziland makes a functional choice and program right now for cannabis legalization, it will permeate through Africa, and we can finally feed our hungry Africans. We can finally alleviate poverty. This is the greatest golden opportunity we've ever had in Africa to finally actually deal with poverty effectively. Like Nelson Mandela, our most loving, beloved Papa, said to us that overcoming poverty is not an act of kindness, it's an act of justice. African nation right now needs to have critical economical transformation, because right now we have got to deal with the people in Swaziland who are starving to death. While others are making millions, others are starving. Apparently it's something like 50 to 60% of this country lives in poverty. We can fix that problem with cannabis. Now, should we say no to cannabis? Let those people rather starve to death because cannabis is evil? Or does cannabis right now offer us the greatest opportunity? If we handle it respectfully and correctly, it offers us the greatest opportunity to reform African poverty, deprivation and destitution. Finally, we have a chance to make money functionally, correctly, and for the beneficiality of all humanity.
Well, this is Channel Swazi coming to you live, and the title of the program is People and Places. Yeah, this is with Deon Woods is heated up, but however, there's a point that you have touched here about being assassinated. You see, Swaziland is one country that is a very free country. No one will assassinate you for saying your views. I mean, you can basically say anything. You can actually walk in Swaziland anywhere. We always thought, up to until now, that the people who attack people are the ones who take cannabis, but I think it's the ones who abuse
alcohol and drugs.
Alcohol and drugs. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yes, but however, this is one of the most free countries ever in the whole world. Actually, it's very difficult. I've just arrived just today from the Republic of South Africa, and I've heard that in one of the taxi ranks in South Africa, it's very difficult now to walk, like at Wanda Street. Right now, it's not very safe for kids to actually walk there because of the crime that is there. So in Swaziland, you can walk anywhere. I mean, you can basically walk. You can basically say anything except anything that is derogatory. Obviously, if you start saying something derogatory that is against the law, then obviously you're likely to be in trouble.
Right.
It happens in America and it happens anywhere in the world. Absolutely. Yes. But
if I may inject there, I would also, if I have the time, to extend my deepest gratitude and appreciation and respect to all the Swazis that have come my way. In the time that I've been here, it has been a very, very challenging task. I've done this completely independently. I've done it by every possible means to do it in the most functional way that I can. And every single Swazi that has met me, that I have met, that we've had a meeting with, that we've shared together, have been so generous, so kind, so supportive. And, you know, if this law reform does change now and Swazi gold is legalized, every single one of you has played as a role in this process as I have. And I want to deeply thank each one of you.
Yes. Well, I thought maybe I was going to hear from members of the legal profession, learned friends. I wanted to hear the causans, the cause and connection, I mean, between legalizing dacha and criminalizing it. But unfortunately, we've only heard from members of the clergy, but that was good enough anyway. However, this therefore brings us to the end of the program tonight. I hope you'll join us again at the same time next week. Well, with us tonight on the show, on the backsides of the program, we have Sonto Mlangeni and Kainsile Mabuza. They are my researchers. They didn't ask a single question. It means the man next to me right here was very eloquent and straight to the point, because they are the people who are here to give me questions. But in this case, it means they are agreeing with whatever you're saying. It was all perfect. And also the director of proceedings is Mr. Letu Shabango on the other side. And technically, on the technical side, you have Mr. Peshe Asibia. Is the man in charge of everything that you see here, because currently we're running on generator. I believe he's the man who's been responsible for giving us the power. And then also we have Mr. Kalumi Samkacha. This is the man who's standing right next to us. He's on the camera's rear. And I'm sure he will have to get a joint just to make sure that he gets stronger.
I'm going to be honest with you as well.
Oh, he does, I'm told he does, actually.
I'm going to be honest with you as well, that as this interview's gone on, I had a joint this morning. So I want to show you that I'm pretty sane and I'm pretty clear still.
Okay, unfortunately I didn't get a joint. And then we also have Mr. Simon Dladla who's assisting, and Mr. Pesha Sibiya on the technical side, and then I have Simpiwe Dlamini who's on the transmission console. He's the guy who's actually mixing our pictures there, and then he's being assisted by Mr. Temikosi Dlamini. Both of them are on the mixing console. They are the ones who actually are putting us on what we call a chroma key. You see, what you should understand with Channel Swazi is we're using what we call a virtual studio. You see, the background is blue here, but these guys make it like look very nice. I mean, it looks like a very big studio. So those are the guys very responsible there. And then obviously we have Melissa Msweli. She's the one who's in charge of our programming. She is the one who's actually just told me now that she told me that 10 minutes was remaining. I'm sure I've gone over the 10 minutes because I didn't have a joint. Yes, and I believe I've mentioned basically everyone, and thank you very much for everyone who has called. And I believe that those who matter have heard our discourse. Those who have enjoyed being with us were saying that you're welcome to Channel Swazi, and unfortunately, it's very unfortunate to those who actually we've trampled upon. That would be very unfortunate, but however, you had all the opportunity to call us and say that it was kindly wrong what we were doing. But however, the ayes have it. It was 10 against 1. It was only Mr. Gininza was against it, and the man himself right here next to me got heated up. So I want to have at least 5 more Gininzas next time, so that we can see how far he gets heated up, so that you know. yeah, sure. But however, my name is Kawimamba saying good night and God bless you.